I got a letter from the government the other day.
This unspoken discomfort or hate for darker people trickles down, and even the 99% of each group, they don't really understand why.
Voodoo, wonderful my magic. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of that deep shit where we connect the dots, and we're going to call this series the Late Night Hour, where we talk real smooth and we wear glasses like an adult. Glasses that mean absolutely nothing. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so on this episode, we're going to talk about fear of a black planet and why are melanated people so discriminated against and so hated. I don't know if that first part was in focus, but it should be now. Okay, all right. So let's get started, shall we? All right. From what I've gathered, is that there are a very elite group of individuals in almost every subculture, meaning every race or ethnicity. So, for example, there are a 1% of Russians. There are and I'm not picking out any group in particular. There's a 1% of elite Chinese people. There's a 1% of elite Arabic people, and so on and so forth. And these elite of each ethnicity, nationality, or group may have privy ancient knowledge of the origins of humanity. Let's just say, and they know that the original being on this planet is a melanated being. Okay, and as I'm saying this, I would like to say that the appearance of melanin in one's body is a phenotype that doesn't specifically say anything one way or the other, but what you can derive from it is that there are different melanin groups, meaning, I'm just saying, not all white people are quote unquote the same. Not all African, whatever that means, are quote unquote the same. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. So, but back to the different nationalities or the elites of these nationalities. They know that the original being is a melanated being. So whatever the fear of letting that knowledge be known jeopardizes their grip and their stronghold on the rest of the people who are not 1%. And so so with fear becomes a hatred, and because there's only two emotions that are absolutely true in this existence in the physical form, that's love and fear. So it's definitely not a love. So out of that fear becomes this quote unquote hatred. They want to protect their position. So this fear trickles down and to the rest of the 99% of each group, whether it be Asian, it could be Pacific Island, it could be anything. With that being said, this unspoken discomfort or hate for darker people trickles down, and even the 99% of each group, they don't really understand why there's this disdain, but they just act on impulse because it's a trickle-down effect. So I'll give you an example. So let's just take Europeans. For whoever's at the top of the European chain has this disdain because they know the secrets. They know the secrets of the origin and how to one become in power through bloody takeover and stuff like that. So they don't want that to be known specifically. So there's a trickle down of a disdain, and this is I'm just generally speaking. So then you have a group, let's just say Nazis or skinheads who hate black people or whatever the case may be. They don't even really understand why they do. I just hate them. Just hate those fucking bastards. You know what I'm saying? Or, Ku Klux Klan, well, in the name of Jesus, the motherfuckers need to stay with themselves. It sounds stupid if you actually listen to them. It doesn't even make any sense. Because there's no reason to hate, you know what I'm saying? And this even trickles down into facets of society and fabrics of society, like, the police force, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it just trickles all the way down, and this is how we get to where we are, where, unarmed black men are being shot, running away in the back, where you get detained Latin immigrants that are being held captive in facilities and separated from their parents. There's this disdain that is just there that causes this control over everything for those who are in power. And it's quite sickening, actually, as being, a quote unquote black person. But what is black? There's not a country called black, and actually black is a status, but that's a whole nother video. We're not going to go there. But definitely have always felt those types of effects. And who hasn't, what I'm saying? The first time I've been slammed into a police car was in like the 7th grade, you know what I'm saying? And brutalized in the 7th grade. That makes no sense. That's crazy. So, but it's normal, unfortunately. But, so the rightful, people and the majority of people are melanated beings, heavily melanated beings, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, don't look at someone's appearance and think that you can judge them, because you don't really know. Just because someone may be have an appearance of being light or even white does not mean that they don't have melanin. In fact, even white people have melanin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if people know that or not, but they do. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, we're pretty mixed up. There's not too many pure people anymore. There are some, and trust me, but speaking of which, I shouldn't have said that. I may just edit that word out. But speaking of which, those who are in control of this land, I'm going to drive the point home right now. Those that are in control, it's like a chess game. Have you ever thought about why you have these ancient ruins, you have these ancient places, these national parks, volcanoes, mountains that are owned and controlled by the people who control the land? Remember, this is about kings and queens and the 1% of the rulers of this world. You know what I'm saying? Before I get to the whole 1% of the rulers of this world, there's a guy by the name of Ronoko Rashidi. I think I'm saying his name right. What he does is he goes, or what he used to do, I don't know if he still does this, but he would go around the world to different countries and expose that the original people of such said culture or race or nationality were in fact very, very dark people. Even in China, even Germany, all across the world, he'll expose and dig into records and show people that the original people of that land were very, very, very dark people. And his life has been threatened on numerous occasions. So shout out to Runoko Rashidi for sure. Different governments don't like that. But going back to where I just derived from, back to the national parks of this country, different monuments, different landmarks across the world, South America, Africa, there where people are controlled, where you can't go over here because it's owned by the government. How does a government own any type of land, and why do they have control over the land? Here's my theory. These ancient places, these ancient ruins, especially those in South America, I'm Googling something right now as I speak. These places were inhabited by melanated people, and these places have clues and traces of a technology that today's man cannot quite understand. How did primitive people do things without bulldozers, without lasers, without some type of tools? You know, like there's a few places in South America like that, Peru, and places like that, that where you see these temples and you're like, well, what is this? This is obviously something, where you see traces of the Mayans, or if you see traces of the Olmecs, and you see these temples, they were used for something, like the Nazca lines, Gopakeli Tepe, I don't know if I'm saying that correct, and Pumapunku. These temples were something, and there was the people that inhabited. These people vanished. There's no burial grounds. There's no signs of any type of famine or disease, and there's no bones in the proximity of the area. So at some point, what happened to these people? You have to think about this. And some believe that these places were interdimensional gateways, or even landing sites for ancestors. We'll just put it that way. We're not going to say any type of words that's going to turn people off. But even look at the pyramids of Giza. Even look at most of the structures in Egypt. I'm jumping from South America to Africa now. What are these things? These aren't tombs. You know what I'm saying? This is some form of technology. And I strongly believe that the people, or the 1% who control this planet, have an agenda to keep the melanated people of this planet to not go to where we're supposed to go. We're supposed to go to these mountains, these national parks, these volcanoes, where they have us not be there, because whatever these places are, it can probably be activated by the descendants of the gods who built it. You see what I'm saying? So whatever Gopakeli Tepe is, whatever that is, whatever that is, it looks like it's some form of something that needs to be activated. The Nazca lines, whatever that is, melanated people need to go back there. But we're so distracted by sports, entertainment, rap music. We're not trying to do what we're here to really do. So this creates the fear of a black planet. And until the melanin comes back together like mercury, because you know what mercury does when it separates, it kind of tries to bring itself back together. When the melanin in all of us come together, hopefully it will connect and spark the consciousness, and we'll get to being where we need to be, because we need to get to these places and be there, not go there to visit. Go there to unlock our technology and our DNA in it. Remember the movie Indiana Jones? I don't know if anyone's ever seen that watches this, but there were some movies back in the day called Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and he went around to all these lost temples, and he would go, in the caves and in the temples, and he would do something that will activate it. That's a fucking clue. We have to be there, in there, doing it. know what I'm saying, to activate it. Think about the lost descendants of the gods. Who are they? There are NBA players. These are demigods. Look at them. They're fucking giants with heavy melanated content. They're too busy playing the NBA. They need to be down in South America and in these pyramids in Africa and in Asia. And there's pyramids all over the world. That's where we need to be. But we're distracted. So let's get over the fear.